Okay, this is my little walk around here. Show you a little bit more about this machine. This is the business end, I guess. You don't want to get in front of this machine. Those are real javelins. Anyway, those are made out of 2 truck axles. And right in the center here, my brother welded those butt to butt. Now, he's never had a welding lesson in his life, but that's one of the things you just learn when you're on the farm. You learn by experimenting. Now, he can take a 1,000-pound bale and bounce it on the end of these prongs, and they've never broken or bent. So that's what I call a professional welder, maybe a little bit beyond professional. Anyway, this front beam here that those are put into is just a good old piece of heavy gauge pipe, and these other holes that are bored into here are the 4 pipes that used for picking up the square bales. And of course up there you see that cylinder. That cylinder actually has paint on it. I think it was probably one of the only parts that he had to buy that he didn't have already. The booms here that come out and hinged at the back are looks like from some sort of truck frame, and they rub on the side of the cab here that you see. I don't know if it's entirely a safety cab, but it should provide some protection. And it has boards on the sides there. Now, explained to me that the metal, of course, will rub on those, but if it was metal to metal, then it kind of makes makes the metal brittle there, and so this is kind of dual purpose thing. Okay, if we come down here to the steering here, since he turned it around backwards, used the original steering column, and over to with a couple pulleys, and through universal joints, and it's probably a scrounged up drive shaft from something, back down to the steering box back there. Okay, and of course automatic transmission, so there's where the shift lever for the automatic transmission bolts to. And I'll just back up. Of course, the rear end is up there, 4-wheel drive. All the weight is on the rear end now, so you got reasonably good traction. I'm not sure, but I almost thought this thing might have been cut in half and re-welded together. But gas tank, real nice and solid, out of a piece of pipe again, with ends welded into it. And just take a shot at the engine here, Chevy 350 as he said, and using a very small carburetor welded onto the plate of where the big 4-barrel was, and he can run this in the hayfield with all the power and speed that he needs for a gallon an hour, so it's quite economical. And your lift cylinders there that he scrounged off of something. I'm not sure what those would have come from, but you don't buy any more than you have to. There's lots of stuff that is not being used from something else. This actually looks like a new radiator. I believe the first one probably eventually got too old to use. I think that looks like it's been replaced or got from something else. Over on this side we have the hydraulic pump, of course, just running off a fan belt there, and with a hydraulic storage tank of some sort that's probably been welded out of sheet metal. But pretty fancy here. Here's a filter, and then his controls. for his 2 sets of hydraulics there. And this side even has a nice step from something, so you can jump up there quickly. And what do you know? It is still using the power brake setup. So everything works just great, and I think oh yeah, there's your ignition switch underneath there, and of course your lever for shifting into 4-wheel drive or high range to low range, if that vehicle had it or not, I'm not sure. But anyway, that's the unit there. You can have all the fancy tractors you want, but there isn't a tractor built today that'll do the job that this does. And I see him sitting in there when he's operating, always a big smile on his face. Anyway, this is just one of the inventions that he made on this farm. There's lots of other things that he's done, but this is one of his most favorite machines. Well, I see here a group of 3 tractors. Some really fancy ones, whatever. But the homemade hay machine, these don't have a chance against it. Seems like he has a tractor for just about any job. This is 3 tractors here, and I can think of at least 3 more that I've seen around the farm doing other jobs, but sometimes the homemade stuff is the best. Besides using this for hay as demonstrated, this is actually a multi-purpose machine. My brother doesn't like climbing up ladders so much, working on things, barns, etc. So he has a big platform that goes on the front, and it can be used for all sorts of building applications, used around the farm for multitudes of things, lifting, moving, etc. Just a real multi-use machine.